Today, we will talk about Indian nationalism. We know that India has been colonized, had remained a colony of the British Empire for more than 200 years, and our freedom and independence had come at the cost of many thousands of lives of people who have sacrificed themselves and families who have contributed immensely to help India attain its long due freedom. Today, we will talk largely about the genesis of the Indian National Congress and the three phases of the Indian National Congress, largely the moderate phase, the extremist phase, and the Gandhian era. Indian nationalism. Factors behind the growth of Indian nationalism. Firstly, the revolt of 1857 inspired people and led to the rise of nationalist sentiments. The sacrifices made by the soldiers and people became a source of motivation. Economic exploitation. The British economic policies turned India into a supplier of raw materials and a ready market for finished products from Britain. The traditional handicraft industry was completely destroyed. Huge amount of money was drained out of India in the form of salaries and pensions of the British officials in India. Railways and communication system. The improvement of the transport and communication system also contributed to the emergence of nationalism. Railways, telegraphs, postal services, and construction of roads and canals facilitated communication and brought people closer and helped them organize a national movement. Spread of Western education. Indian nationalism acquired a modern outlook through Western education. Indians learned about and drew inspiration from the French Revolution, American War of Independence, and became familiar with the ideas of democracy and nationalism. Lastly, the growth of vernacular press. Several newspapers and periodicals were published in different regional languages as well as English, such as the Hindu, Amrita Bazar Patrika, the Bengali, Kesari, Indian Mirror, etc. They criticized the British policies and became a medium of propagating the spirit of nationalism. And the growth of patriotic literature, novels, plays, and poems written during this period fostered the spread of nationalism. Now, we will talk about the birth of Indian National Congress. A new era in the political life began with the formation of the Indian National Congress in 1885. Founded by Alan Octavian Hume, the first session was held on 28 December 1885 in Bombay. It was presided over by Vomesh Chandra Banerjee, popularly known as W.C. Banerjee. The main aims of the Indian National Congress were promotion of brotherhood among the Indians, development of the feelings of nationalism, formation of popular demands and the presentation before the government through petitions, training and organization of public opinion, recording opinions of educated classes on pressing problems. Now, we will talk about the moderate phase. 1885 to 1905, the beginning or the initial years of the Congress is referred to as the moderate phase because of the policies accepted and followed by its members. They believed in constitutional methods and were humble and modest in their criticism of the British. They had firm belief that the British government would gradually concede to their demands. They would understand. Third, carried out agitation through petitions and resolutions. They believed that through petitions and peaceful negotiations, our demands could be put forward in front of the British government and they could be explained about our problems. Fourth, demanded participation of Indians in the Legislative Assembly. And the eminent leaders of the moderate phase were Dadabhai Naoroji, Feroz Shah Mehta, Surendranath Banerjee, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Their main objective was to promote national unity and build public consciousness working within the constitutional limits. And their contribution could be taken as to create political awareness. The first concept of a pan-Indian political party came through the Indian National Congress, and these leaders were the initial leaders who helped in developing and mobilizing public opinion and creating political awareness among the common people. Now we will talk about the radical phase from 1905 to 1918. Their aim was to change in the method adopted by the moderates. They wanted the INC or the Indian National Congress to adopt aggressive policies against the British government. The extremists wanted absolute autonomy for India and their goal was to attain Swaraj or self-rule. They believed in active opposition to the government. Post-Bengal partition, different methods of protest including Swadeshi, boycott, national education, and revivalism were adopted. The eminent leaders of the radical phase were Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, and Lala Lajpat Rai. Next, we move to the Gandhian era. Gandhiji evolved a method of satyagraha where he emphasized on satya, and which means truth, and agraha, which means eagerness. Gandhiji described the roles and duties of a satyagrahi. A satyagrahi refuses to accept wrong and remains peaceful. For truth, a satyagrahi would accept suffering himself or herself. By doing so, the satyagrahi would hope to arouse the conscience of the person who has committed a wrong action. Satyagrahi should give up fear, hatred, and falsehood. Under Gandhiji, we see three main protest movements that have taken shape in the history of political India. uh, Non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement marked a new awakening in the Indian independence movement after a series of events, including the Rowlatt Act, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Gandhiji realized that there was no prospect of getting any fair treatment at the hands of the British. Thus, the non-cooperation movement was launched from September 1920 to February 1922. In February 1922, post the Chauri Chaura incident, the movement was withdrawn by Gandhiji himself. Next, the civil disobedience movement. It was launched in the Congress session of December 1929. The aim of the movement was a complete disobedience of the orders of the British government. It began with the iconic Dandi March in March 1930, where Gandhiji himself walked from his march from his ashram in Sabarmati to the coastal town of Dandi with 78 followers and broke the salt law by boiling seawater and making salt. Then we have the Quit India movement. In August 1942. The All India Congress Committee adopted a resolution in favor of starting a mass movement on a large scale to compel the British government to quit India after the failure of the Cripps mission. Gandhiji was arrested and people reacted violently. The movement was brutally put to an end, and the Quit India movement proved that independence was inevitable. Thus, India gained independence in August 1947, as we all know, but it was a long process because nothing could have been achieved if the leaders of or our freedom fighters, they had taken a stand and they had decided to fight till their end to bring independence for our country. This is all for today. Thank you.